What's up, everyone? Nick Peroni here, back in 2021 with some updated drop shipping content. I am excited to share this with you and just really start this mission I have in mind for 2021 of how anybody can crush it this year with drop shipping using the methods that I have continued to show people throughout my career, especially in 2020. I put out a lot of fire content, and I'm back really with this video kind of to reinforce that these videos still work, because it happens where tendency is that people see something, and maybe if it's a few months old or it's a year old, they think it's dated. They're not sure if the strategy still works. There's so many other Facebook marketers out there and agencies out there sharing all these different strategies. And look, this video, what I really want to come back to and what I want to get grounded in right here is helping new people get started and find success. All right. This video is, I've made videos in the past showing how I've scaled to bigger numbers than most of the drop shippers out there, but those numbers can be very far and hard to reach for people. So now I'm back with a new store as we move into really what I consider the big 9 months of the year, right? From this point forward, basically to the end of the year, that stretch of amazing opportunity to really crush it with drop shipping using Facebook ads, okay, specifically. And I want to help as many people really take advantage of this as possible this year, because in my opinion, honestly, I'm not sure how drop shipping with Facebook ads is going to fare in 2022. The golden years of using Facebook ads for drop shipping may be coming to an end soon. And I'm not trying to spread any fear or FUD or FOMO or anything like that. It's just what I personally think, how I've seen the trends evolve over time. And so I really want to make sure that everybody who's here right now, who hasn't seen their first 6 figures with a store, who hasn't seen their first $1,000 days, really, I think that's where my goal is setting this year in terms of helping people, is to help people achieve those $1,000 days, right? I think that's a very achievable goal to set in the beginning, where, last year I came out with a lot of content and it was all about like how you can scale a store to $1 million in less than 4 months. And that's a somewhat unachievable goal for a lot of people, even though after that content came out, there were people in my private group that did hit $1 million in sales within around that same time frame, and I have the testimonials to prove that. But more to the point of what I want to say is that I think that is something that you learn after, like, learning how to just get to that first $1,000 a day. And so this content is what I want to show you now here, right? And this is a new store. You can see it's set month to date for April right now. And the other thing that's interesting about this store, you can see the trend line here. As I record this right now, it's actually 10 p.m. on April 6th. And this store is very much on its way to $1,000 a day. We're at almost $800 today. The day's not quite over yet. And I'm going to show you some of the ads in a second here, just so you can get an idea of the progression, because I'm doing this with a new ad account. So another thing that I wanted to do, it happened kind of by chance, really, because I've dealt with some issues with my ad accounts towards the end of last year, and so I've had to go out and get some new ad accounts. And I've talked about this in the group, and it's funny. You get some people who look very negatively about it, like they worship Facebook and think Facebook is never wrong and blah blah blah, this and that. Look, I'm here to help people make money, right? I'm here to be the continued undisputed people's champ that helps you actually make money, all right? Not to worship Facebook, not to give Zuck all your dollars, right? So what I'm showing you is the stuff I know how it works, okay? So the point here is that this is a new ad account that I am renting, using through multi-login and another profile, and that's something that anybody can set up. And I have another video on that inside the Ecom Empires group if you're interested to learn what I'm talking about there. But the point of why I mention that is because this started, so this store is just around 10 days old now, I think. Let me see. I believe the 28th was the first day. And basically I'm doing a long process of warming up, right? So there was like a 7-day test period in here. If anybody's familiar with my ad strategy, you know I like to test at $5 a day, testing lots of different audiences, right? And then when I find audiences that work, I move them into a CBO using my patented Cbo Jump Method that I put out last year and has worked wonders for so many people. And I'm showing you it still continues to work, right? So here was the first day, and then, basically over there, it hovered around a couple $100 a day. Good conversion rate, good average order value, and then as now we started to find some audiences that are working, I created one CBO here, and then yesterday the start of today, like 12 a.m. in the morning, I created a second CBO, and so you can see now that it's starting to head towards that $1,000 a day, and I'm quite certain we'll be there very soon. And my plan with this is to keep creating ongoing content now to really, again, help people this year, because I think that this may be, honestly, this may be my last hurrah in terms of helping people with drop shipping. I'm kind of moving on professionally and personally in my life to other things, and so 2021 is like the big bang for me to really help as many people as possible with this. So I want to journey and document this. I want to document this journey once again, like I did last year, but very tailored this time to really trying to help as many people in that broad audience of newbies or intermediate people really crack through and get to, just an achievable income through this, right? Well, $1,000 a day I think is very achievable, and that puts you in the range of $30,000 a month, and that could be, with your profit margin being, let's say, anywhere from 20 to 30%, you're looking at $5 to $10 grand a month, right? Now, are you going out and buying a Lambo with that? No, but who cares, right? If that's why you got into drop shipping in the first place, then you're probably a little bit more damaged in the head than you think, and it's going to be more difficult for you, right? If you're getting into this just to be able to make some side hustle money, because your job's not giving you what it used to, or because you need, COVID has wrecked a lot of people in terms of jobs and income, and maybe you were in a small business of some sort, and so like that's what this is for, right? People who want to be able to make a realistic, achievable amount of money on the side, whether that's going to be a side hustle income, or 5 to 10 grand a month is actually a full-time income at a very high level for most people in the world, that would give you the freedom to do what you want to do. And that's what this is about. So let's jump in. This is going to be a somewhat quick video compared to some of the videos I make, because I want to actually kind of, I have some content here that's all going to go together that I'm planning to release over the next couple weeks, and so I just want to reiterate a few things here. So first, I'm gonna look at the ad account, and I'm gonna pull that up so that we can see the testing strategy that I'm using. All right, so this testing strategy here, we're looking at an ad account, and basically what I'm doing, I'm just going to pull up one of the tests here. All right, I'm testing audiences. Now, you're not seeing the names of the audience because I don't want to show you the names of the audience, but I want to show you here that I'm testing at $5 a day still, all right? And my goal being the Cbo Jump Method, where I find 3 purchases at least a 3 times ROAS or higher, and, you saw around my average order value was around $80, right? $75 to $80, so you can kind of figure for yourself the ROAS on these. So basically the margin on this product is around $40. So this margin is high. This is outside the target cost per purchase, but I'm letting it run because it already has a purchase, and so I will usually let it go until 2 times the cost per purchase to see if another one comes in, because if it does, it'll cut that in half, right? But these are all well within profitable ad sets, okay? And so basically what I do, and again, I've already shared this strategy, so this video is not really about me breaking it down and diagramming the whole thing again, because I've already done that. This video is more about me showing you that it still works for a couple reasons. One, you might be able to tell there's a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Like I'm really getting sick of the FUD out there from the agency marketers trying to act like, you know, you need some crazy complicated special plan and you need to have seances and worship Facebook to actually make things work. Like, that's just not true, right? Now, yes, is there always the risk of being disabled on an ad account? Of course there is, but there are many ways to get ad accounts back. A lot of times now on new ad accounts, Facebook is just disabling them because they want to verify identities. And so you just need to be able to verify the identity and you'll be back up and running. But anyway, on this again, look, the $5 ad set strategy still works. You can see that here. Still is working. This is a broad audience. Now, you'll have to take my word for that. Anybody that you've seen my stuff in the past, you know that I only like to target audiences that are 2 million in size or more in the US only, because that's where I believe the money is, right? It's a broader audience and Facebook can do the heavy lifting, and when it hits really hits, right? And it's something that is perfectly primed to go into the Cbo Jump Method. All right, so that's this is, and you can see by the CPMs, like that kind of verifies this is a US only audience because the CPMs are kind of high. But like I've always said, and this is important for you guys to remember as well, CPMs being higher does not matter if your CTRs are good, right? Meaning, like in this range, 2% to 4% CPRs are good, right? And I'm sorry, CTRs are good. And you see the cost per click is in the $1 to $2 range. That's on the higher end of what I like to see. I do have another store running right now where the ads are getting like in the 50 cent to the $1 range. But you can see it still works, right? Based on the margin of your product, which is why I said in the past, I only like selling products that have a $30 margin or more, high value perceived products, high perceived value. So I'll come back to that in a minute. But again, here I'm just showing you the $5 ad set testing strategy still works. All right. Okay, so you'll also notice that in here there's product campaigns for testing and there's the homepage campaigns for testing. And that's because it's no secret that last year I released my my course called One Product Profits that shows how to build one product stores and scale quickly. And so I am still using that formula, and part of this is leading up into the re-release of One Product Profits that will be coming soon. All right, because I truly believe that that is still the best way to really win and succeed in dropshipping for a lot of reasons. But I'm going to go into more detail on that in a later video. You know, I haven't really seen anything I took a couple months off from dropshipping the beginning of this year just to do other things, right? Just to live life, just to focus on what I wanted. And in that time, though, still, you know, I keep my ear to the grindstone always, and I have still not seen anything better, right? And now that I'm coming out in March with new dropshipping stores with a goal to really show people this strategy and help people again, like I'm still seeing again that this stuff works, right? And you can still see that I am a master of my own teachings, and this stuff continues to just work. All right. And so any video that I release, the stuff that's still in the announcements of Ecom Empires, the stuff that's still on my YouTube channel from 2020, it's all still 100% valid. And here you are seeing it in effect. Okay. Whether you choose to listen to this or not is completely up to you, but you can see in effect right here how it works. All right. Now, the Cbo Jump Method, like I said, you saw in that last campaign, right, that there was the let me filter this to active, make it easier. Okay, so you saw in here that I had the audience that had audience 1, right? 3 purchases, 3 times ROAS. So what do? I duplicated this to its own CBO campaign, right? Exactly as I've shown in the past. It's going to be duplicated with 5 exact copies and set to a $100 CBO. And I've showed that strategy, and I call that my CBO Jump Method. And then here is that strategy in effect. spending $100 a day. You can see that it's been running for about 5 days now, and it's on fire, right? Absolutely on fire. One ad set, still got to purchase, but I turned it off because it started to reach that 2 times target cost per purchase, and there was no reason really to keep it on because all these other ones are performing on fire, right? And on a $40 margin, you can see that my margin on this CBO is like in the near the 50% range, like 49%. Not that it will always stay that way, but obviously lots of room to scale with that. And then here's a new one that I just set up. So here was the product test, audience 7, right? Audience 7 hit 3 purchases, doing well. And so I set up the new one here, and where is it again? So here's the audience test. So coming out of the gate strong, right? And I'm going to treat this the same way as I would as any. Like I always look within the first day. I'm generally looking at clicks. It's always fantastic to see this, right? Like we're seeing purchases. That's amazing, and this method works so well. But like this, for example, has no add to carts. Everything else has add to carts. The cost per click is much higher in general than the rest of them, so I'm going to turn this off. And that's generally how the Cbo Jump Method works. You just turn off the ad sets inside that aren't working, and you let Facebook optimize the full budget towards the ads that are working. And because these are broad audiences, there's a lot of room to scale this, right? And so I'm just starting out small, but there's lots of room to scale these. And then you can see I set up a whole new round of testing as well. These are pretty much new, just set up yesterday. So I'm testing more audiences and looking for more audiences that will graduate into the Cbo Jump Method. This store will be at $1,000 a day very quickly. And then, from there, once you build up your custom conversions, you'll create your lookalikes and go back through the whole thing again, testing lookalikes. And that is effectively my blueprint that allows me to scale to 6-figure months quickly. Now, it's important to remember that the marketing is the most important part of this whole piece. And so just wrapping up quickly with some stuff, which, by the way, funny note, I had some YouTube haters that hated on me for using this whiteboard and just kind of drawing on it. I got that idea from Alex Becker because he does it, seems good enough for him and his massive audience. So I figured, it's an easy way to do it. But it's funny, man. People like so dumb. I have no desire to buy like a fancy whiteboard to make videos for people. Anyway, moving on. So it all comes down to the marketing, right? This is the most important part that makes this work. And I've been trying to tell people this for a long time, that if your marketing is on point, which is why the one product formula works so well, by the way. Which again, I'm not here to sell that right now. I'll talk about that more in an upcoming video. But the point is that's why this works so well. When your marketing is on point, Facebook ads are easy. Now, that's not to say that there aren't challenges with Facebook ads these days, but it's so simple to sell and scale using my methods if you have good marketing, meaning that you have a really well-branded store. You're focused on a high-value product, right? I'll talk about that more in a second. And also, so high value, like this is so important. I'm going to come back to this, but also really good video ad, right? All right. So having a good video ad makes a big difference. High value product, of course. Now I have a service in here. I might release a video sharing video service that I use. It's very affordable. That helps me get results like that. But anyway, high value being products that are actually, solving a problem is one of the best ones, right? And I've said this before. But solving a problem is always going to be one of the best types of dropshipping products because, people have a problem and you can solve it with a new and innovative product, then that's something that's going to get a lot of attention, especially if it's a mass appeal audience. So high value products that solve a problem are generally where I like to focus. But it doesn't always have to solve a problem, right? It could be something that increases a person's let's say, confidence or self-worth, or, just how they view themselves. There's a lot to be said here. There's a lot of big brands out there. For example, one that super famous we all know of is a Rolex, right? People buy a Rolex simply because of the statement it makes, not because, yes, it's a superior watch in the way that it's made, but does it really do a better job at telling time than a $40 watch from Walmart? No, it does the same function, same utility, but people buy a Rolex because they can, and it makes them feel good. Not me personally, I don't care about that stuff, but other people, right? So that's why when you can find problems in this area, the women's market is great for this, right? Like in November, we were selling a product. I think I shared this with people. I can't remember. $0 to $150,000 in 3 weeks, and that was a product that was women's leggings, and it worked because of that confidence factor. Women felt good wearing it, and it also had comfort factor to it. So there's a lot to go in here around this confidence word, but it's something that makes people's quality of life better, basically, right? And so these two, let's put that in here, quality of life, right? Because that's somewhat different than confidence. Quality of life is also another big one. Especially consider, how all of these can kind of work in and out together too. Right now we're moving into the springtime, right? Home and garden category is huge, and it's massive for springtime and can work so well. There's so many different types of products that can solve a problem around the home, or in people's yards, or can improve the quality of life by, say, making a task easier to do or better to do, right? And so that's something that is these three things can really come back to this high value factor. And this high value factor is how you charge for higher margins, where you can have a $30, $35, $40 margin. And that's where the Facebook marketing really starts to work, because you have room on the front end to be making money. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible to make a lot of money with a lower margin. I'm just saying it's more difficult using the Facebook ads platform if you don't have a big funnel build out, a lot of email marketing, upsells in place, all these different things. Where I like to help people, and I think one of the reasons I've been so successful helping other people is because I show you how to make money on the front end, direct response marketing, right? How you can make money and scale, by having high value products with good branding, getting a good video made, and using all of that together. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's what I'm still doing and what I'm still focused on. Now, again, I'll talk more about some of this in the future, but that's really it. I'm still testing at the $5 budgets, as you can see, breaking that out across 10 audiences. At least if you only have a product page because you're running general stores, then look, I don't want to say general stores can't work ever, but if you're running, because there's a lot of different worldwide opportunities to consider, right? Like if you're running a general store in the Philippines, then that can work like gangbusters, right? Or in Thailand, or another, say, less developed country where e-com hasn't necessarily been as saturated, or drop shipping, I should say, has been as saturated. If you're trying to run a general store to the US these days, you're kind of in like Looney Tunes land, because that is so much more difficult to make work around this time anymore, which is why one of the things, this branded factor is what helps make this whole thing work so well. I want to be very clear about that. So that's why for me, I'm running 10 audiences times 2 campaigns, one to the homepage, one to the product page. But no matter what, if you're just running to a product page, that's all you have, you should at least be doing 10 audiences, maybe 20 audiences. As you can see, I did this times 2, right? I set up another test of audiences after I went through the first week of testing. Okay. And then when I find an audience that works, I pull it out and I use my Cbo Jump Method, which starts at $100. And again, there's content all over the announcements section of Ecom Empires and my YouTube channel that shows how to do this and how I make this work and how I set it up. So that, and then that's just, you test as many audiences as you can to move them in here, and then you scale these audiences up based on what works and how big the audience is. Then eventually you build your lookalikes and you go through the same process, right? And that's how you get to 6-figure months. And I know I make it sound simple by saying it like that, but it really kind of is, right? Again, it's all predicated on this in the beginning, and when something hits, then it hits, right? And you're able to jump off and basically let Facebook do the heavy lifting for you, so that you can, basically just feed the machine and let it scale. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you, and reinforce that my methods work, and also excite you for what's coming this year, and kind of let you know exactly where my mission and my mentality is this year in helping people with drop shipping, right? I don't care anymore about, or I never really did care about, like, being in a competition with showing the biggest numbers on a screen. I think I've already more than proven, that there's nothing left there for me to prove at this point. And so now what I really want to get back to and focused on is documenting another journey of helping people really use this formula that I've perfected. I started sharing this formula last year, and I could have been so much more aggressive about it, but I'm actually somebody that really doesn't like to go super aggressive with something until I've had multiple data points, right? Multiple confirmations of it working. And now there's been so many confirmations of this working. I've received so many messages over the past, 3 to 6 months from people, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, right? Same old thing. And in the past 5 years with Ecom Empires, I know that I've helped generate well over $10 million in sales for people throughout, the world of drop shipping and e-commerce that have come here to learn and gone on to get amazing results. And so now I want to bring it back home for a final stretch. I think this is going to be one of my final years really creating content on drop shipping, and I really want to make sure that as many people are set up to succeed with this formula that I've perfected and that I know works beyond a shadow of a doubt. All right. And if it's not working, anybody that's ever out there that said it's not working, this is where their problem lies, right? This is always where the problem lies. It doesn't lie in the method, and that's so important to remember. And I say that simply because I've tested this now so many times, and it's worked so many times, and because I know so many people that have also tested it, and it's worked so many times, right, to scale to those multiple levels that I've talked about. So anybody that's having a problem is having a problem here with one of these three things. Either your video ad is not good enough, either the brand that you're building on the front end is just not connecting, or the product that you're trying to sell is just not high value enough in the minds of the consumers that you're trying to sell to. All right. So that's a wrap on this take. I'm excited to help some people really crush it with drop shipping. As always, don't sleep on this opportunity. Don't sleep on these methods. They still work, and there's still $1 million worth of free content out there in my videos where I've shown and broken this down, and I'm coming back with more updated content to continue to show you how it's working for me now, and how I continue again to be the master of my own teachings and help bring this victory to the people. All right, talk to you later. Cheers.